A faint creak echoed through the quiet house, and Lyndy froze. Her heart pounded as her eyes fell on a small, worn diary tucked away behind old photo albums. It wasn't just any diary. It had been hidden so carefully that no one could have guessed it existed. A shiver ran down her spine. What secrets had Marion kept all these years? Who was the person she trusted more than anyone? The one she called her biggest believer? Lyndy didn't know yet, but as her fingers brushed the diary's leather cover, she felt the weight of something monumental about to be revealed. Every page promised a truth that could change everything at Heartland. The air in the room was thick with dust, sunlight streaming in through the slanted attic window, illuminating motes that danced like tiny stars. Lyndy's hands trembled slightly as she carefully moved aside old blankets and boxes. She had been looking for something else entirely when her fingers grazed the edge of a leather-bound diary, hidden in the far corner where no one would think to look. She pulled it out slowly, as if it might shatter at the slightest touch. The cover was cracked and worn, a testament to years of secrecy, but it radiated a silent importance, as though it carried the weight of someone's entire life. Lyndy's mind raced. Marion's handwriting was famous for being meticulous, neat, almost artistic, and she could already imagine the lines and curves inked carefully on these pages. She flipped the diary gently, her heart leaping with every turn. There were pages filled with dates, small doodles, and little notes that seemed to speak directly from Marion's heart. Some entries were faint, almost illegible, as if time itself had tried to erase the memories. Lyndy realized this wasn't just a journal, it was a window into Marion's private world. A world she had never let anyone else see. Each entry hinted at emotions too deep to be shared with the world. Hope, fear, trust, and dreams. One note tucked between others mentioned someone Marion described as her biggest believer. Lyndy paused, her breath caught in her throat. Who could it be? She knew everyone at Heartland admired Marion, but this sounded different. It sounded personal, sacred even. The diary wasn't just a book. It was a confession, a hidden map to Marion's most cherished connections and deepest secrets. Lyndy's fingers lingered over the page as if touching it could somehow reveal the invisible threads connecting Marion to the person she trusted the most. She carefully set the diary on the old wooden floor. Leaning over it with a mixture of curiosity and caution, the room seemed to grow quieter, the sound of her heartbeat filling the space. The discovery of this diary was no ordinary find. It was the beginning of a story that would unravel hidden truths, test loyalties, and challenge everything Lyndy thought she knew about the people she loved at Heartland. And as she turned the next page, a sense of anticipation wrapped around her like a cloak. Something extraordinary was about to be revealed. And Lyndy knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The diary felt heavier now, as if it carried not only paper and ink, but the weight of Marion's entire life. Lyndy's fingers traced the edges of each page, hesitant yet eager, like she was stepping into someone else's heartbeat. Every word she read seemed to whisper secrets meant for no one else, and the quiet of the room made those whispers almost deafening. Some lines spoke of ordinary days on the ranch, the simple joy of watching horses run free, the comfort of sunlight on haystacks, but others were more personal, tinged with a vulnerability Lyndy had never imagined Marion would reveal. A folded corner caught her attention. Carefully, she opened it. The handwriting was small, almost fragile, like Marion had been speaking to herself while writing. There, in elegant curves, were mentions of someone she called her biggest believer. Lyndy's eyes widened. Who was this person? It wasn't a name she recognized immediately, but the words radiated admiration, trust, the kind of loyalty that went far beyond ordinary friendship. Each page she turned added another layer of intrigue. Little notes about encouragement, moments of doubt, dreams shared in silence, and a steadfast belief in Marion's courage that no one else seemed to notice as Lyndy read on. Flashes of Heartland life seemed to float in her mind, the smell of fresh hay, the echo of horse hooves, laughter at the kitchen table, but all these memories were now tinged with a secret Marion had kept hidden. It was as if every ordinary moment held an extraordinary truth waiting to be uncovered. The diary wasn't just recounting events, It was mapping the invisible bonds between Marion and someone who had quietly believed in her all along. Lyndy could feel the tension building, the curiosity gnawing at her. Every page she turned brought her closer to a revelation that promised to reshape everything she thought she knew about her mentor, her friend, and the heart of the ranch itself. She paused on one page, lingering over a phrase underlined twice in blue ink. "You are the reason I never gave up." Lyndy's breath caught. That line alone spoke volumes. This wasn't just admiration, it was devotion, trust, and perhaps love disguised as encouragement. Her mind raced through the faces of everyone she knew at Heartland, trying to place this invisible hand that had lifted Marion when no one else could. The diary was more than words. It was a puzzle, a riddle, and Lyndy held the key. She knew that with each page, the truth about Marion's biggest believer was coming closer, and the revelation would shake the foundations of everything she thought. She understood about the people she loved. Every turn of the page felt deliberate, almost ceremonial. Lyndy realized that this discovery was not just about reading Marion's thoughts. It was about connecting to a story she had never been told, a story written in secrecy, loyalty, and unwavering faith. And with every whispered secret, she could feel the diary guiding her, nudging her toward the truth that had been hidden. Waiting for the right moment to be uncovered, Lyndy's eyes widened as she reached a section of the diary she hadn't expected. The words were raw, heartfelt, almost trembling with emotion. Marion wasn't just writing about daily life or simple observations. She was pouring her soul onto the page. She wrote about moments when she felt alone, when the weight of the ranch, of expectations, or her own doubts threatened to overwhelm her. But then came the entries about someone who always believed in her, who never wavered, who saw her strength even when she couldn't see it herself. Lyndy could almost hear Marion's voice in the cadence of the writing. Quiet yet resolute, filled with gratitude and quiet awe. One page stood out. The ink was slightly smudged, as if tears had fallen onto it while Marion wrote. The words weren't just descriptive, they were confessions of trust, admiration, and even something that felt like love, though written in the subtlety only Marion could manage. She called this person her biggest believer, someone who lifted her during the hardest days, who never doubted her vision or her heart. Lyndy's fingers lingered over the page, tracing the lines as if touching them could somehow connect her to Marion's emotions. She felt a rush of empathy, a deep connection to the life and struggles behind the words. Realizing that this diary was not just history, it was an emotional lifeline, a secret map of Marion's inner world. As Lyndy read further, small details emerged that made her heart pound. The diary revealed late-night conversations, unspoken support, encouragement that went unnoticed by everyone else, and little acts of devotion that Marion cherished deeply. Each entry painted a picture of someone extraordinary, quietly present, a person whose belief in Marion transcended ordinary friendship. Lyndy felt her chest tighten. This wasn't just admiration, it was faith, loyalty, an unwavering support that had shaped Marion's life in ways the world would never know. The revelation hit Lyndy like a thunderclap. Marion's biggest believer wasn't just someone she liked or admired. This was a person who had shaped her dreams, who had quietly held her up when no one else could. And the thought that this person might be someone Lyndy knew, someone right there at Heartland, made her hands shake with anticipation. Every sentence she read seemed to echo in the silent room, leaving Lyndy both awed and anxious. She felt as if she were walking alongside Marion, experiencing her joys and fears, her gratitude and heartbreak, all at once. By the time Lyndy closed the diary for a brief moment, her mind was racing with possibilities. Who had stood behind Marion so unwaveringly? Who had been her hidden anchor, her quiet champion, her biggest believer? The answer was coming closer with every page, every delicate line of confession. And Lyndy knew that the next revelation would be a turning point, one that could change everything at Heartland forever. Lyndy's hands froze mid-page. Her eyes darted across the diary as her breath hitched. A sentence, simple yet powerful, sent a shiver down her spine. Through every failure, every doubt, you never left my side. The words were unmistakable, intimate in a way that no casual friend could ever be. Her mind raced through every person at Heartland, friends, family, co-workers, but none seemed to fit this hidden devotion. And then it hit her. The biggest believer wasn't someone she had expected at all. The realization clawed at her chest. All those moments she had seen someone quietly encouraging Marion behind the scenes, staying late to help with the ranch, leaving small notes of support, suddenly made sense. Lyndy's pulse quickened as she connected the dots. Every gesture she had brushed off before, every mysterious visit or quiet reassurance, had a purpose. Someone at Heartland had been Marion's unwavering champion all along, shaping her confidence, protecting her dreams, and quietly guiding her forward. A faint noise outside the window made Lyndy jump, the diary trembling in her hands. But she couldn't stop now. The diary seemed to pulse with its own energy, demanding that she see the truth fully, no matter how shocking. Another page revealed a detail that narrowed her list of possibilities, a mention of a shared joke. A moment only someone living and working on the ranch could know. Lyndy's eyes widened. This wasn't a distant supporter. This was someone close, someone she had overlooked, right in plain sight. The suspense was almost unbearable. Every line she read deepened the mystery and increased her sense of awe. Who had loved and believed in Marion with such quiet intensity? Who had shaped her world without her ever realizing it? The diary didn't just hint at the answer, it demanded it. Lyndy's grip tightened, and her breath caught as she realized that revealing this secret could change relationships, shift loyalties, and uncover truths no one at Heartland was prepared for. And then, the final line on the page seemed to leap off the paper. "You are my reason for believing in the impossible." Lyndy felt her stomach twist. She knew in that moment that the revelation would shatter expectations, spark emotions, and leave everyone at Heartland reeling. The identity of Marion's biggest believer was right. They're close, familiar, and yet completely unexpected. The diary had pulled back the curtain just enough to shock her, but not enough to give away the full truth. She set the diary down slowly, her mind spinning with anticipation. The next step was inevitable, discovering the person behind these words. But with the truth so close, Lyndy felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This secret was no ordinary revelation. It was a turning point, a spark that could ignite everything at Heartland in ways no one had imagined. And as the camera lingered over the diary's final underlined phrase, the suspense was almost unbearable. The truth was coming, and when it did, nothing would ever be the same. Lyndy sank onto the old wooden floor, the diary resting heavily in her lap. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, emotions colliding like storm clouds over the Heartland Ranch. The truth about Marion's biggest believer wasn't just a revelation. It was an emotional earthquake, shaking the very foundations of everything Lyndy had thought she knew about her friends and mentors. Every word she had read carried weight, love, and unwavering loyalty. And suddenly, Lyndy felt the full magnitude of the devotion Marion had hidden away for years. She closed her eyes, imagining Marion's life before this quiet, steadfast support had been revealed. Every struggle, every late-night doubt, every moment of uncertainty now had a hidden hero, a silent force who had shaped Marion's courage without ever seeking recognition. Lyndy's chest tightened as she realized how much of Marion's success and inner strength had come from someone so quietly devoted. The diary wasn't just a record of thoughts. It was proof of invisible love and dedication. The kind that doesn't ask for praise, but changes lives anyway. Images of Heartland flashed through Lyndy's mind, horses grazing in the sunlight, barns bathed in warm golden light, the laughter and bustle of ranch life. But now, each scene was reframed, colored by the knowledge that Marion had never been alone in her journey. The biggest believer had been there, silently present, offering encouragement, protection, faith in Marion's dreams. Lyndy felt a swell of emotion, gratitude for the person's quiet devotion, awe at Marion's ability to keep such trust sacred, and a pang of wonder at how much unseen love exists in the spaces we take for granted. Her fingers brushed the diary again. Lingering on the ink that still seemed to pulse with life, she thought about what this secret meant not just for Marion, but for the people at Heartland who had unknowingly been part of a quiet, profound story of faith and trust. The realization was humbling. Some bonds are invisible, yet their power is immense. The diary had revealed more than words. It had revealed heart, loyalty, and the extraordinary impact of one person believing in another. Without anyone else knowing, a single tear escaped Lyndy's eye as she whispered the words aloud. Though no one else could hear them, you believed in her when no one else did, and it changed everything. In that moment, she felt connected not only to Marion, but to the invisible threads of trust and love that wove the ranch together. The diary had opened a door, showing her the depth of relationships hidden beneath everyday life, and she knew that what she had discovered would change the way she saw every interaction, every person. Every small gesture of devotion at Heartland, Lyndy's reflection wasn't just about the past. It was about understanding the power of faith, loyalty, and love, in shaping lives quietly, unseen but profoundly. The diary had revealed a truth so moving that it couldn't be hidden anymore. And as she looked out across the ranch, the wind rustling through the trees, Lyndy felt a quiet determination. This secret was precious, powerful, and worth protecting. Even as it prepared to shake the ranch to its core, the diary lay open on the floor, the pages fluttering slightly in the breeze from the attic window. Lyndy's eyes were wide, her mind racing with everything she had just uncovered. The weight of the secret pressed on her chest, yet a strange exhilaration accompanied it. She knew she was on the edge of something monumental, something that could change not only her understanding of Marion, but the very dynamics of Heartland itself. Every heartbeat echoed the unspoken question: who is Marion's biggest believer, really? Her fingers hovered over the next page, hesitant. The diary teased her, offering glimpses of the answer without fully revealing it. There were cryptic notes, inside jokes, and references that only someone close to Marion could understand. Lyndy's curiosity surged, a mix of fear and excitement pushing her forward. She realized that the secret wasn't just about admiration, it was about love, loyalty, and faith in someone's dreams in a way that could alter relationships and stir emotions at the ranch. As she read, memories from the ranch flooded back, moments that had seemed ordinary, but now carried hidden significance. A quiet conversation in the barn, a reassuring glance across the fields, a small act of kindness that had always gone unnoticed. Every detail suddenly clicked into place, and Lyndy's chest tightened with both awe and apprehension. The biggest believer had been quietly shaping Marion's life all along, and now the truth was so close, she could almost reach out and touch it. Lyndy leaned back, the diary cradled in her arms, and whispered to herself, "Though no one else could hear, this changes everything. And I have to be careful." Her eyes darted toward the attic door, the shadowed corners of the room suddenly seeming full of possibilities. Who else might discover the diary, and how would they react? The suspense was thick, almost tangible, as if the attic itself was holding its breath. The camera lingers on the diary's half-hidden lines, words underlined with care as soft, suspenseful music swells. The voiceover teases the coming revelation. The person who believed in Marion more than anyone has been closer than anyone imagined. And when the truth comes out, it could change Heartland forever. Lyndy's hand hovers over a final page, hinting that the next discovery will shatter expectations. As the scene fades, the audience is left in tense anticipation. The diary's secrets are almost within reach, but the full truth remains just out of sight, promising a shocking revelation in the next episode. The cliffhanger leaves viewers on the edge, hearts racing. Eager to see who Marion's biggest believer truly is, Lyndy carefully closed the diary, her fingers lingering over the worn leather cover one last time. The attic seemed quieter now, but the weight of what she had uncovered pressed heavily on her chest. The secret of Marion's biggest believer was no longer hidden, at least not from Lyndy, but the full impact of this revelation had yet to unfold. Every glance she cast around the attic, every sound in the distance seemed charged with anticipation. The truth was so close, yet still shrouded in mystery, leaving her both exhilarated and anxious. As she stood and gazed out the window, the golden rays of the setting sun stretched across Heartland, painting the ranch in warm, tranquil light. But tranquility was deceiving. The diary had pulled back the curtain on something far deeper, far more personal than anyone could have imagined. Lyndy's mind raced with questions. Who would be affected by this revelation? How would the biggest believer react if the secret was ever revealed? And how would this change the relationships she had long cherished at Heartland? The camera slowly pans over the diary resting on the floor, pages slightly open, inviting curiosity and suspense.